Most people believe that success is about working harder, chasing money, or being lucky enough to be born in the right place at the right time. But Naval Ravikant, one of the most respected thinkers in the modern world of entrepreneurship and investing, argues that real success is much deeper than that. His philosophy is simple but life-changing. True wealth and true happiness come from understanding how to think, how to act, and how to live with intention. In this video, we will walk through the most powerful lessons from the Almanack of Naval Ravikant, a book that brings together his ideas about building wealth, living a good life, and finding freedom. By the end, you will see that the path to success is not about copying someone else's formula, but about developing your own way of playing the long game. Naval begins with an important distinction that most people never stop to consider. Money and wealth are not the same thing. Money is just a tool, a way of transferring value from one person to another. Wealth, on the other hand, is the ability to own assets that generate money even while you sleep. If you are only trading your time for money, you will never be free, because your income stops the moment you stop working. This is why Naval says that time is the most precious resource of all. You can lose money and earn it back, but you can never get back the hours of your life. To achieve freedom, you need to stop selling all your time and instead focus on building things that keep working for you once they are created. This brings us to the idea of leverage. Leverage means doing more with less effort. Naval describes three main types of leverage that anyone can use. The first is leverage with capital, which simply means using money to make more money. This can be investing, owning equity, or building something that earns while you are not around. The second type is leverage with people, which means building teams, delegating work, and leading others so that your efforts multiply. And the third, which Naval believes is the most powerful in our modern world, is leverage with code and media. When you create software, content, or digital products, you can build something once and share it infinitely at almost no cost. This is why he often says, learn to build and learn to sell. If you can do both, you will never be without opportunities. But wealth is not only about having money. Naval warns that money without meaning is an empty goal. That is why he also talks deeply about happiness. For him, happiness is not something you stumble upon in the future. It is not waiting for you once you finally buy a bigger house, a nicer car, or earn a certain number in your bank account. Happiness is a skill, and like any skill, it can be trained. Most people fall into the trap of thinking, I will be happy when I achieve this. But as soon as they achieve it, they immediately want something else. The cycle never ends. The secret, Naval says, is to practice being content with less, to train your mind to appreciate the present moment. He believes meditation, silence, and self-reflection are powerful ways to gain control over your thoughts. If you do not learn to master your mind will master you. But once you realize that happiness is not out there in the future, but something you cultivate right now, you begin to live with real freedom. Another one of Naval's principles is to play long-term games with long-term people. In a world obsessed with quick wins, hacks, and instant results, this advice may sound old-fashioned, but it is the foundation of lasting success. When you play the long game, you stop chasing shortcuts and instead focus on building trust, relationships, and reputation. Naval explains that almost everything worthwhile in life compounds over time. Wealth compounds, knowledge compounds, and trust compounds. This is why you should avoid dealing with people who are dishonest, short-sighted, or constantly chasing the next scheme. Instead, work with those you respect, admire, and want to grow with. Over the years, this approach creates a life that is stable, abundant, and full of meaningful connections. Naval also emphasizes the difference between wealth and status. Status is about looking important, about climbing social ladders and trying to appear above others. It is a zero-sum game. For one person to win status, another must lose it. Wealth, however, is a positive-sum game. When you create value, everyone benefits. Chasing status leads to comparison, envy, and endless competition. Chasing wealth through value creation leads to freedom, growth, and progress. The world does not need more people fighting for status. It needs more people solving problems, building things, and creating value. Naval's message is clear. Do not waste your life trying to look important. Spend it trying to make something important. A huge part of Naval's life philosophy is built on learning. He is known for reading constantly and widely, often consuming hundreds of books. His advice is simple. Read what you love until you love to read. The act of reading compounds, just like wealth. With every book, you absorb years of someone else's experience in just a few hours. Each new idea adds to your mental toolbox, making you wiser, sharper, and more capable of seeing opportunities. Naval believes that knowledge is leverage for the mind. Once you fill your mind with ideas, patterns, and lessons, you start to connect dots others cannot see. That ability is what separates average performers from extraordinary ones. One of his most famous principles is this: earn with your mind, not with your time. If you are stuck in a system where your income only grows when you work more hours, you are limited forever. But if you can develop rare skills, solve difficult problems, and think in ways others cannot, then your earning potential becomes limitless. The world pays a premium for people who can think, create, and innovate. That is why Naval insists on building knowledge and judgment, because those are the real assets that never depreciate. Another lesson from Naval is about choosing the right game to play. You can be the best in the world at something nobody cares about and still end up stuck. That is why it is crucial to pick industries and areas where growth is possible, where scale is real, and where your skills can make an impact. Once you find the right game, the combination of leverage, compounding, and knowledge works in your favor. But if you are playing the wrong game, no amount of effort will make you truly free. At the heart of Naval's message is the idea that true success is not about copying others, but about becoming uniquely yourself. You build your own playbook based on your strengths, your interests, and your chosen games. And when you combine that with a deep understanding of leverage, happiness, and long-term thinking, you create something far more valuable than just money. You create freedom. The freedom to wake up and do what you want, with people you love, for as long as you want. Naval believes this is the ultimate goal of life. Not status, not endless accumulation, but freedom. So if you take one thing away from Naval Ravikant, let it be this: focus on building assets instead of selling your time. Play long-term games with long-term people. Read, learn, and let knowledge compound. Practice happiness as a skill, not as a destination. Seek wealth, not status. And above all, design your life so that you are free. Free to live on your own terms, free to create, free to enjoy the present moment. That is the real secret to wealth and happiness.